Wow, network or what? Are you still there?
Crisis. It could be personal crisis and other problems. So work addiction is mostly based on the individual.
Wow, what's going on? Network or what? Hello, sir.
Okay, so like I was saying, work addiction just has to do with people putting long hours at the office, not getting enough sleep, being obsessed with work-related issues, and having a defensive attitude towards work, always using work to avoid relationships and other personal crises and emotional problems that they might be going through.
Okay, okay. So work. Okay, so it's just that these people they are so obsessed with work. The only difference is that they use work to avoid some other things. Like work is all that is concerned in their heart. Everything on their mind is work, 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 work. Is that what you're saying? You don't have time to rest.
Yes.
Okay, okay. So are there actually signs of addictive behavior? Maybe is it possible for someone to be to okay to have this addictive behavior issue, but then this person does not know? Is it possible? And like I don't know, because the other time you were talking about the fact that you mentioned workaholic as a mental behavior or something. So is it possible for these people to be to have this addictive behavior issue and they don't know? Like are there signs to know everything like that?
Yes, yes, there is. Uh, One, there is it. People don't. Not everybody are usually aware about um, something like this, or if they are engaged in an addiction, because the common symptoms, for example, inability to stop engaging in, for example, work addiction. Like the person has finds it very difficult.
You are live with Sage Talk Show. Thank you for joining us live on today's program.
There's withdrawal symptoms too, for when someone hasn't gone to work for a very long period, and then he feels some type of way because he hasn't gone to work. So it's feeling like I need this certain urge to do a particular thing, or him or herself, until she takes the cocaine. So these are the ways that one can tell that one is addicted to anything.
Hello, sir.
Eh?
Yes, sir.
Did
Please,
you hear what I said?
sir. When you were talking, the network took your voice away for long. I didn't hear what you were saying and everything. So I will need you to actually
Oh,
talk about the symptoms again, the symptoms of addictive behavior again. I'm so sorry. It's the network from your side
no, no,
because
there's no
there's no
problem.
network in here. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. Okay, so the symptoms is inability to stop, changes in mood, denial, um, feelings of the behavior, losing interest in other things that they enjoy doing, and withdrawal symptoms. Uh, for example, withdrawal symptoms in the sense that the person wouldn't feel easy on himself until he or she engaged in whatever activity or behavior he or she has been addicted to. For example, taking coffee. If one doesn't take it, he or she would feel some type of way and would feel that something is missing until he or she takes the coffee.
Okay.
So for someone with work addiction, the person wouldn't feel all right. He or she hasn't to his or if the person doesn't go to work for about a week or two, wouldn't be comfortable, would feel very uncomfortable and would want to do something relating to work. People who are workaholics or are addicted to working find it very difficult to go and leave.
Wow. I understand because okay, there are cases where like that where I hear students on campus say things like that. That man is too addicted to work. They will give him leave that he should go on leave. Professor will still come to school area to come and work, things like that. Okay. Thank you so much, sir. So, is there any relation between addictive behavior and mental health? And I would like you to talk about the way out for the people who are. Is there any way out? Like maybe you're addicted to something. What can the person do? Because you even told us that the person will always look for ways to do that thing. So, can it be avoided? Like, is there anything that can be done to it?
Aside seeking the help of a psychiatrist, one thing or one other thing the individual can do is, because once you get to a psychologist or a psychiatrist, you go through cognitive behavioral therapy. Okay. But before it gets to that stage where it would become very detrimental to one's mental health, one thing that individuals can do is, with the help of their friends and family and people around them, is, for example, work addiction. Reduce the time the person is working. Find other activities that the individual can engage in and would also enjoy. Okay. But this is not something the person should do alone, because he or she is already addicted to what he or she was doing previously. Okay. So, with the help of friends, families, and other caregivers, it can engage in other activities that would help them get their minds off what they've been addicted to. Then they can also set a time limit or set a time frame to whatever they're doing, like the time they give into their work. So basically, that is all they can do to reduce the addiction. Okay, sir. Depending on the type of addiction, yeah.
Okay, sir. Because what you just said now is for work addiction, and there are a lot of other addictions. So I would like you to talk about others too, and also I would like you to discuss that aspect of cognitive behavior therapy. I want you to say some things underneath, sir.
Okay. Like I said, there are different types of addiction. Okay. It could be gaming addiction. It could be food addiction. There's addiction to exercise addiction, and there's sex addiction, and there's internet addiction. Now, the general like the first step approach to these addictions is to cut down. For example, now food addiction. He or she can set a timetable, cut down the amount of what he or she eats, source for other means of food. The same thing, for example, the internet addiction too. You can cut down the time limit you spend on the internet. Mm-hmm. So basically, the solution or the answer all lies together for the addiction. It is when it is a drug addiction or that leads to a severe case. That's when you might need some extra hand or extra help for or treatment.
Okay. Sir, okay, what about the cognitive behavior, sir? Cognitive behavior therapy.
Shall we come again?
Yeah, I said what about the cognitive behavior therapy, sir? You've not mentioned anything alongside that, sir.
Okay. Well, cognitive behavioral therapy is a psychotherapeutic, or let me say, it focuses majorly on the changing of the automatic negative thoughts that can contribute to worsening emotional difficulties, depression, and anxiety. But it basically doesn't have anything to do with um, with addiction, because the addiction or whatever the individual is addicted to is not causing depression, anxiety, or any behavioral or mood disorders. Hello?
Okay, yeah, I'm listening to you.
Okay. So cognitive behavioral therapy mostly is used in psychiatry for cases like depression, anxiety, and most psychiatric cases.
Okay.
But as for cognitive for addiction, when it will be needed is when it has gotten to the point where it's now affecting the person's mental health, causing the person to go into depression and all. Yes. But it's not needed in the first stages of intervention.
Okay. So there are a lot of stages of it, but cognitive behavior for addiction is not the first. It is until when it's affecting mental health, that's when you need it.
Yes.
Okay, sir. Is there any other thing that you want my listeners to know about this behavioral addiction? Is there anything? And on the part of that gambling part, now most times we find gambling among students, all these secondary school students, especially all these ones that are kind of old, amongst the young ones in the class. Is there something the parents can actually do to actually prevent their child from involving him or herself in this gambling part of addiction?
Well, there's something the parents can do is first off restrict them from gambling.
Okay.
Or anything that exposes them to want to gamble. Then another thing the parents can do is get them something that would also take or occupy their interest, that would cause them not to want to gamble.
Okay.
Like just engage them with something entirely different. They can be engaged in an activity, it could be something that, but it has to be something that piques their interest.
Okay, sir. So what is your general advice for my listeners out there on this topic?
Well, my general advice is that one should be able to balance his or life and not fixate that especially the country we live in presently and the way times are hard. What everybody's focusing on is trying to get money. But I'm not saying that nobody shouldn't try to get money, but also remember that if one is only fixated on going to work, not trying to relax and engage in some other activities during their leisure, it would affect one's mental health. And basically, occupational therapy is about having a balanced life. From going to work, from having time to rest, time to have fun, time to be serious, and time for everything. So it is very important that one has a balanced life and everything is balanced. Going to work, surfing the internet, eating, exercises, and everything just has to be balanced. One